Hello, welcome to your monthly edition of Match Day Live from the 246 here on CBC TV8. I'm your host, Damien Best. As usual, we've got an exciting review program for you tonight. Well, let's take you through some of what has transpired so far, but let me introduce my guest first up. Tonight's edition, we will feature President of the Barbados Football Association and CFU President Randy Harris. He joins us on tonight's edition as well. As we've got Renaldo Gilkes, who's still celebrating after Kickstart Rush captured the youth title there. He's all smirks. And we've also got Trevor Thorne, former national player as well. And he is, of course, a commentary man and technical advisor to so many as well. Has all the stats for you. This is Match Day Live from the 246. When we come back, we dive right into all the action here on TV8. Back here on Match Day Live from the 246. Of course, yours truly, Damien Best. We've got a lovely panel for you, including the president of the Barbados Football Association, Randy Harris, who joins us all the way from the United States of America. Randy's been busy as well, traveling. We've got some action going on throughout the Caribbean region, and Randy's going to bring us up to date with that. But first of all, we had that planned international friendly between Barbados and Honduras, and that was abruptly cancelled without a ball being kicked due to poor pitch conditions in Louisiana. Now, Honduras has scheduled a match in Louisiana as preparation for this summer's Gold Cup, CONCACAF's regional championship, which started on Saturday and runs until July 16th in various U.S. cities. But the pitch at the 7,000-seater venue in Baton Rouge, where the high school American football teams regularly play, had several large patches covered with sand, while it showed signs of deterioration. Now, Randy, I know on your screen you're seeing the Honduras side training and getting ready for that. You can see the patches on the field, some sand patches. Take us through what really happened here as we, prepared for this encounter, not knowing what we were heading into. But you can see on your screen that it wasn't like the BFA facility in Willie we've all grown to love. What happened?
Well, the truth is this match was organized by a private promoter who has the experience of organizing a number of games in the CONCACAF region. Both teams had a written contract signed by both parties, and basically the promoter was responsible for airfares and accommodation and a match fee for both teams. The truth is that we both experienced some problems with travel and with the hotel. I don't think the promoter was really ready to, have the two teams on shore because in a number of areas they fell down. I think the field was the final straw, but it was not the only reason why the match Honduras decided not to play. Now you must remember that Honduras was on their way to the Gold Cup. Their national team featured all professional players who were released from their clubs under certain conditions. They are well insured, and of course, the conditions will have to be up to standard for them to participate. Honduras has improved tremendously over the past couple of years. And we in Barbados were so happy that we were selected to play this international friendly, which would have been a FIFA Tier 2 game that would and could have made a difference to our rankings worldwide.
Yeah, fantastic. I know we were all looking forward to it. But what's next for the Barbados team? Because if you're preparing for something like the Nations League, which we didn't have a good time last time out finishing in the standings, we were not as up to par as we want to be coming out of COVID and what's not. But where does this leave us? What's next for us? What do you have in the works?
Well, the truth is that when it comes to the technical aspect of our national teams, the president is not the main man. The main people are the coaches and the technical director. The coaches, they have their plan. And of course, they want to have matches on specific days leading up to their first encounter. And the BFA has to support these propositions because they understand and know exactly what they need to do in order for the team to perform at their maximum. Yes, we have a number of matches coming up, and there are promoters who are willing to give Barbados an opportunity to play against higher ranked teams who are looking for competition, and we think that we will be able to showcase some matches in Barbados and give our team an opportunity to travel and play all.
So the breaking news here on Matchday Live is that you should have at least 2 more or 3 more friendlies within the coming months before September.
Yes, before the actual start of the Nations League, we need to have some more practice so that the coach can gauge and assess the development of the team in a match situation.
Great.
You know that these friendly games, whether we are playing at home or abroad, are pretty expensive to put on. And obviously, it has to have some bearing on our funding and finances available.
Definitely. No, you've been traveling this weekend, so bring us up to date. What's been happening in your neck of the woods? What have you been up to in terms of overseeing the competition, which I just alluded to earlier? Honduras were preparing for. So give us an indication of what's happening there.
Well, this on Saturday was the beginning of the World Cup 2023. As you know, in Chicago, where we were, Jamaica played the United States, a very competitive game, and many people left the stadium believing that Jamaica versus the USA can be a possible final for this year's World Cup. So we have been there. We've had meetings. We attended the games. Unfortunately, I was supposed to leave Chicago yesterday through Miami, but somehow flights were canceled, and I've now found myself in New York on my way home.
Well, that's the modern day travel. No, anything can happen. But thanks for bringing us up to speed. Been looking at a couple of the results as well. Mexico beating Honduras 4-0. So very interesting. Honduras not having much of a warm-up. And I'll let Renaldo Gilkes chime in here. Obviously, Renaldo, you follow all the scores, and Trevor as well. So Honduras didn't get much of a warm-up, and they butt up against Mexico, who thrashed them 4-0. The Gold Cup, high-level football.
Yeah, good evening. Good evening to you and all the viewers. The Gold Cup, as Randy was speaking about just now, the first game between Jamaica and USA, I think that set the tone for what this Gold Cup could be. Believe it or not, I believe Jamaica could have come up with 3 points in this particular one. We had Leon Bailey, who plays for Aston Villa. He missed it. Well, he was saved by Matt Turner, who goalkeeps for Arsenal versus USA. So he was saved. I think he missed a rebound. And then there were some near misses for Jamaica. But I believe that particular game set the tone for the World Cup. Honduras, they were looking to play Barbados, as you mentioned earlier, just before the World Cup. And they would have only played against Venezuela, a game that they would have lost as well. But coming up against the Mexicos, the USAs, the Costa Ricas, coming up against those powerhouses in the region in your first game, it's always a very clinch encounter, and it's always important to at least try to leave with a point. However, going out to Mexico 4-0, it means that Honduras has it all to do in their remaining matches. But the highlight for me over the weekend, I don't know if President Harris would have seen it, and I'm sure he'll be proud to hear about this. You have our Caribbean counterparts, Haiti, coming from behind to defeat Qatar 2-1. And for me, that was a feather in the Caribbean cap because, as you know, at the CONCACAF stage, the Latin American teams often trump the Caribbean team. So I was fascinated. I'm very pleased I was able to see the back end of that game, and Haiti were able to hold their own against Qatar, who would have obviously competed in the last World Cup, which they would have hosted. So I'm looking forward to seeing the Caribbean teams. We have Trinidad defeating St. Kitts 3-0, another Caribbean jewel. But I'm rooting for the Caribbean teams throughout this World Cup. But in reality, I believe that USA, Jamaica, as President Harris mentioned, to me, that's a realistic fight and one that I would like to see.
Yeah, definitely. Trevor, I'm going to get you to chime in here. Obviously, the Gold Cup happening. You know, we dream about one day you can see Barbados playing at this level as well. I'm sure Randy would love to see that Barbados reaching the Gold Cup stage. Your thoughts on the matches over the weekend and where you saw the Barbados team really losing the opportunity to build against Honduras and the match not coming off?
Yeah, very sad to hear the news that the game would have been cancelled at what we consider to be almost the last minute, basically. But no fault of Barbados. They were looking to get their game on, heading into the CONCACAF Nations League. And I'm sure President Harris will be looking for a couple more games as he coordinates with the technical people over here in Barbados to get the exact games that they're looking for as well. But you can see that teams that are in and around us, Trinidad, appearing in this particular Gold Cup again, we had our chances to match against the Trinidadians. We played against Jamaica quite a few times as well. St. Kitts and Nevis has already been this particular World Cup as well. And of course, we played the likes of Haiti in Group B. We were going to get a friendly against Honduras. And don't forget, Martinique off to a good start as well in Group C in their matchup as well. So the teams are here. We played against them in most recent times in our CONCACAF Nations. We look at Panama, also in Group C. And we would have, if you check the games in when we would have played them, we weren't that far off of the pace, losing the matches perhaps in the final moments of the games that we played. So there is a chance for Barbados to bounce back, but they'll need to do exactly what they're doing now. Look for big games and look to bolster the squad with international players, because if you're coming up against professionals, then certainly your local guys, all respect to the local guys that are here, the best will come to the top, and then you'll have to pick the others who qualify under the Barbadian parentage side of it to play for Barbados as professional players against these same teams here, because as you can see, the Gold Cup offers the best opportunity for scouts to come according and for you to have a stage to present your particular type of football on these types of teams here as well.
Definitely, Randy. Do you have a time frame, Randy, for when you believe that you might be able to have a full strength Barbados squad? I mean, a squad that includes the best from Barbados and the best of the overseas-based players.
Okay, the realistic thing is that the overseas players, we don't really have as big a pool as a lot of other Caribbean teams in football. But there are a number of players that the coaches have found. Many of them have received their Barbadian citizenship, and they are expected to help Barbados to perform well in the upcoming CONCACAF Nations League. The thing is that we need we need a lot of help. We need to play good games, and our players need to step up. The other thing about overseas players is that you have to be careful of selection, because sometimes overseas players, yes, they want to play internationals, to have their CV looking good, but the commitment to the country, that most of the time they're unfamiliar with, is not always shown. We have to be very careful as to the selection. Barbados have been pretty fortunate so far, but I believe that we have been lucky to have good players who were interested in Barbados football and seeing us move forward, but we have not had many of them.
Okay.
And the coaches are on top of that, and we will look to make our best selection. Um, but of course, the coaches are in charge, and whatever we think, they have the responsibility and authority to select the teams as they see fit.
All right. Well, we're going to shift gears here on Matchday Live. We're going to move to the local scene. Weymouth Wales, the hot news for the month, beaten by courageous Wharton side, sneaking in one late. It's always those 1-0 score lines that kind of break a little bit of momentum. Wales have been dominant nonetheless. But I like what's happening in that second, third, and fourth spot, because the battle really in between the Empire, Ellerton, and that Britain Sill Surgeons. Talk to me about that Renaldo. We saw Calvi of Empire looking really good. He plays very well off the ball. Kind of the superstar there, the hero for Empire, and they've been starting to come together. Very, very promising side, and they look to be the ones to beat, holding on to that second spot.
Yeah, honestly, I believe that since the acquisition of new coach, former national player, Honda Proverb, since he took over from Fitzgerald Carter, he has not lost a game in the league. So I've heard him repeatedly say within his interviews that the players are playing for him. So he gives the impression that there's not a lot of fancy tactics, but more so one of commitment and dedication to the purpose of the club. Trevor being a blue, we call the Empire members the Blues. He will be able to give a bit more insight on the Empire makeup. But you rightfully mentioned Daniel Calvi. He is the talisman for Empire. Everything goes through him. He connects everyone else as well. He's not a selfish player. But believe it or not, over the weekend, so Empire would have defeated Hill to more or less secure that second spot in the league. But over the weekend during the Champions Cup, Hill won 2-0 at home against Empire. So it shows that there's not a lot of difference between those teams at the top. I know you would have mentioned that there's a race for the second, third, and fourth, which includes Ellerton, but there's more fun at the end of the table. You have familiar names that used to be at the top, like the Barbados Defense Sports Program and Clayton School of Notre Dame. They are knocking. They're about within the relegation area. So you have, for those who are watching and don't know, 4 teams are being relegated from the Premier League. And so far, right now, you have Silver Sands, St. Andrew Lions, the Barbados Defense Force, Deacons, Notre Dame. There's another one that's knocking in and around there. That's making it quite interesting, to avoid that drop. Traditionally, it used to be 2 teams going down, but with 4 teams going down, it kind of create a bit more interest. Not saying that the top of the league is not interesting, but the bottom is a bit more fun, as I mentioned, because you have that, like, it's almost like a cat fight to stay up. As I said, you have teams like the Barbados Defense Force and Clayton School of Notre Dame, who are both former champions. So to have either of those teams relegated, that would kind of like start to consider some kind of revelation within Barbados football, because you can't really imagine top flight football without the BDF sports program or Notre Dame.
Yeah, definitely. I know Trevor will want to chime in here what he's seen so far, but quickly, Trevor, as we transition as well, we got to talk about the Champions Cup and look at that youth football result as well from the weekend. But we've seen what happened in the league. We've seen Weymouth Wales at least could be beaten we think, but maybe you can have an off day. But the rest looks very interesting. Particularly like to see what happens to Britain Hill in this next phase, to see what they can respond with. I know Ellerton have had a kind of a seesaw kind of season, but they seem to be leveling off right about now, Trevor.
Well, yeah, all you need to do, Damien, in a few short words, would be have a look at the opposition that the likes of Britain Hill are playing against in order to make their way through the Champions Cup, and you'll see that they weren't too disturbed when they had the likes of Silver Sands to deal with, or let's say the Barbados Soccer Academy, and they dealt with them quite nicely, and they've been able to meet the task of taking out Empire at their home base at Valerie only yesterday evening, I believe it was. And so, they're sailing at this point in time. I suspect that Empire will bounce back, knowing that they have to if they're going to try to make their way to get hold of one of these trophies that are here. The league is right there poised, and they need to do a little bit better in the knockout as well. The other teams, Wharton, in with a good chance still to upset Wales, because last night's game was a crackerjacker match at Greens, and you would think that Wales did have the most chances, and therefore the team that has the most chances and able to put them away on the night will normally win the game. But Wharton were never out of it up until the 90th minute as well, you see?
Correct. And just to remind the viewers as well, the scorelines there 3-2 in favor of Wales. They're coming away with the victory over Wharton, so that sets it up quite nicely. We also had a win for Carlton, red and white, and Britain Hill over Empire. So it's going to be interesting for the second leg of the competition. Then it was on Sunday. We had Dames defeating Pinelands, Ellerton hammering Trents 10-0, and a win for Bagatelle. So the Champions Cup has been very interesting indeed. We've seen a lot of goals, and I'm sure the fans around the communities are very excited to come out and watch some football action as well. We also had the completion of the Guardian Group and the 15 youth tournament. Yeah, go ahead, Trevor. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry, I preempted you because you're going exactly where I wanted to go, and I want to highlight a particular player as well, because on Saturday the CSI was out, and we had a look at the Pro Shotters under 17 against Paradise under 17 at the BFA Turf World in the under 17 final, and a name keeps popping into my head as perhaps one of the men that will turn out to be one of the better midfielders that will come out of these youth tournaments. A gent by the name of Jelani Johnson, playing for Pro Shotters. I'm sure Renaldo Gilkes will know him very well. Paradise will also know him very well. He's a big headache.
Right.
He wears the number 11 on his back, and he's one of the major reasons why Paradise didn't have an answer to the Shotters, and they ran away with it 2-0. Jelani didn't score. He was instrumental in doing all the good things from midfield as well.
Well, Trevor, we're going to pause it there for a moment. We know Kickstart Rush winning 2-1 over Technique Brave Hearts. Congrats to Renaldo Gilkes. He orchestrated all of that. Sat down with the guys with a big chart probably and set things about. I saw him on the touchline remonstrating a lot. Congratulations to you, Renaldo. And a 17th section, Pro Shotters United blanking Paradise 2-0. It's time now, though, for our top plays of the month. Let's get to it, then we get back into the discussion.
Into the box he goes to Shane Lord, across the face of goal, into the back of the net. How did he get that pass, Primus Paul? That was the most acute of angles, and Wharton have scored.
And Ellerton continued from where they ended the first. This time, Rashad Jules with a good ball control, relaxed, and he finished the job. Deacons managed to post another goal when Atkins took a free kick. He beat the defensive line and the Ellerton keeper. So it's now Ellerton 4, Deacons 2. But before the end, Jules got his brace. 2 minutes added to regulation time, and that was more than enough to earn Ellerton full points, 5-2, and a move into second spot on the local Premiership standings.
The third and final goal was scored in time added on. Mario Cooper sets himself nicely. One of the top goals of the month. UWI started brightly in the second half. Otherson Genius of a cutback and a left boot of devastation. Superb. That's 3-1.
Yeah, there you have it, some of the top goals of the month of June. Definitely looking forward to see what next month will hold as we head into summer, July, of course, and as the Premier League season winds down. Randy, you're going to have some of the final words from you. Obviously, a lot, people are looking out for a lot from what your administration has for the team for the next couple of months. Where do you want to see Barbados football? If you can wrap that up in 30 seconds or so.
Yeah, well, the truth is, we have put a number of programs in place. We have the FIFA Talent Development Scheme as one. We also have an academy, the Barbados, the Gregory Lado Goodrich Academy, which is coached by the two head coaches of our national senior men's team. And the object is really to lift the standard of younger players and give them an opportunity to play outside of Barbados. But the BFA and its executive committee is planning for the future of football in Barbados. We have to do that. And we are being exposed to a number of programs. I also forgot to mention FIFA Football for Schools, which the Ministry of Education and Ministry of Sports are involved in the organizing of pushing football, and this is sponsored by FIFA. And I think it would be a great thing for our young boys and girls to be exposed to the game from an earlier age. We are looking to the future, and we are positive that some good things will happen to Barbados football and footballers in the future.
Brilliant. What a way to wrap it up. Guys, we're out of time, unfortunately. We've got just about 30 seconds to go, but congrats to you. Renaldo PB Gilkes, as usual. Great stuff there, a real technical mind coming with a victory over the weekend in youth football. Trevor Thorne, absolutely a pleasure to have you with us once again, and thanks so much to the President of the Barbados Football Association, Randy Harris. This has been Matchday Live from the 246 or June edition. I'll see you next month.